Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of our Freaky Friday guest stories. Today we are so excited for our guests. We are joined by Corinne and Sabrina of Two Girls, One Ghost.
Yay!
Hi y'all. Well,
Hey.
I'm nervous to have you because I hear you're the most haunted podcast in America and we might get haunted.
Oh.
So
Yeah, we're sorry ahead of time to you and anyone who's listening because Corinne and I were just talking about this actually. It's frustrating because some of the hauntings are good, but the most of the time the ones that we hear are like
Was that the ghost?
that might have been the ghost.
Yeah.
Like stop
Your
talking
Uber
about
ghost
me.
is here.
Yeah.
In the LA
scary
streets.
though, because you literally are like, some of the ghosts beep beep, stop talking. I'm like,
But most of them are like kind of scary, or it's the ghost turning off the podcast, which is kind of rude. Like, hello, we want people to listen.
Well, like you can whisper EVPs. We're fine with that. That's like a fun little Where's Waldo in the audio. But when they actually start turning the audio off and preventing people from listening, that's when we get a little upset. Though I will say there was one instance where someone found our podcast by their truck that was turned off, turning itself on and tuning into our podcast, which the guy had never listened to podcast and never heard of us before. So it was like, here you go.
That's
Here's an
wild.
episode for you.
you have a street team in the afterlife. It's like, all right, we're gonna have a mostly meeting. How are we going to get more listeners to Two Girls, One Coast, Corinne and Sabrina? We're going to turn on, let's just start, we're going to, like U2, back when they put their album on everybody's iPhone, the ghosts are just going to infiltrate all of our technology.
There are two stories that like really stick with me. One is, and this is a good one. Actually, I'll start with the bad one and then I'll go to the good one.
That's good.
So episode 12 of our show, it's called Dominus. It's probably the scariest episode we recorded, and we both like were freaked out afterwards. But we had a listener. We had countless listeners experience things when they listened to it, but one specific listener was driving in their car at night while listening to that episode, and a deer ran like right into their car. And like,
oh God.
Yeah, and they were like,
Deers
I
will
can't
just
listen to your
total your
podcast.
car.
That can fuck your car up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Have
poor
you guys
deer.
Well, yeah, of course,
experienced
RIP.
stuff?
Oh yeah, I'm more so than
No.
Chrissy said. No, I had our listeners know when I was in high school. Well, my childhood home was haunted, and by the people that lived there beforehand, the gentleman in the front was he was fixing a car under kind of like a Chantilly setup like situation, and it fell on him unfortunately in this horrible accident.
no.
And his
Oh my
wife ran from the
gosh.
house to go and try to call 911 and save him. And as a kid, I would always see a moving something, a specter, a phantom running down that same path just over and over again. So I think it was a
Oh my
what do you call it, like a
gosh,
recurring
yeah.
spirit. It didn't seem conscious, like it wanted to interact. It just made me
Yeah.
sad, honestly, thinking about the story, how you
Residual.
get trapped trying to. Yeah, residual.
that
That's
is
the word.
sad.
Yeah.
Residual
So yeah,
haunting.
and then my high school boyfriend's house, I think, was haunted by Abraham Lincoln, the Hat Man. I don't know. There's like a creepy figure. It was like it wasn't.
Probably
But he
it.
had a stovepipe hat. I mean, he just had like this big hat,
Yeah.
like 1800s dress, and would just patrol the hallways in their house. But they had a priest come and bless all the bedrooms, so it wouldn't go anywhere past the door. And the house had a rule: after 3 a.m., you do not leave the bedroom, not for the bathroom, not for go to the bathroom before 3. Do not come out until the morning. And I should have taken that as a red flag, but I didn't.
Yeah. What did he do? Did he have a
Have a bucket next to
bedpan?
his bed.
Yeah.
If he had to,
Is that on the resurgence?
You held
Amazon
You just got trained.
bedpans have spiked with paranormal activity.
it.
That's the
You're
correlation.
like, I can't drink any liquids after 5 p.m.
Right, you wake up late, like, honey, what are you opening the bedroom window for? I gotta go piss in the bushes. I can't go in there.
I gotta
Yeah.
climb out the window to go to the bathroom.
yeah, safer,
well, yeah.
safer to go outside than inside your own home.
If you buy a
Those are inside.
shiwi, it can be quite easy, I think.
I
That's what I've
have
heard.
a shiwi. I
Shiwis
used
are
it
not
once.
easy.
They are not.
They make a
especially
mess.
when you've been drinking.
They make a
That's
disaster.
when I decided to use one. Yeah, it didn't go great,
No.
but I bought one because I went to the Women's March in DC in 2016, and everyone was like, "You've got to get a shiwi because there's no telling when you'll be able to go to the bathroom." Turns out it was not. I did not need it. But later that night, after going to the club, walking back, I was like, "I'm going to try this thing out." And so I just went into a playground of a school. Me and my friends.
all
were like,
places.
I was like, I want to see what this is like. And it's so hard because we're not used to like peeing that way. So your body's like, this isn't right. You shouldn't be peeing right now. Don't do it. And like, you really have to like focus on it. It was difficult.
Yeah.
I would never.
You're on a list
Shiwi,
somewhere.
this podcast is not brought to you by Shiwi.
You're a mom, and you are a mom and still peeing on the children's playground.
I wasn't a mom then. I was not a mom yet.
Okay. I'm wondering how many CCTV footages. You're on like a mom's Facebook group somewhere. Like,
yes, probably.
I have famously, like, I cannot control my bladder. I can hold it in for a really long time, but then like, if I have to pee, I have to pee. And sometimes I sneeze and I pee. Sometimes I laugh and I pee. And
do you have children?
No. That's scary.
Well, good.
But that's going to be a huge trouble.
Godspeed when you do.
Thank you. I need prayers.
This is going to be the diaper circle. We'll all just sponsored by Pampers.
But I once had to pee and I was like in a parking lot, and so I like went behind a car and squatted, and the building next to me started like an alarm started sounding. It was like, just so you know, we are recording. You are on video. Video is being taken. And I was like, well,
kill me. Oh my God.
Too late. Pants are down.
You're
stream
welcome.
is flowing.
Yeah, I can't stop it. There's nothing I can do. This is what's happening.
I can't imagine anything more.
Y'all are both on most wanted lists somewhere.
For sure. Yeah, I never thought of that. There could have actually been footage of that. So that's fine.
You're gonna go viral.
My
Wait,
new
Sabrina,
lesson
did you yell back?
No, but it was like an automated response.
Like,
I think my new
lesson.
lesson. I need to like have a hooded something with me at all times, so that when I have to pee, it's like incognito. You can't see me.
Right. Yeah.
I was doing this because I envisioned like a rubber Richard Nixon mask. I don't know why, because that's probably more obvious. Don't do that. You should wear the hood. Go with the hood.
If you're peeing with a Richard Nixon mask on, you're probably going to get an alarm.
Or no one approaches you because they're like, nah.
Oh, no. They're too unhinged.
We've heard these, we've shared these, our fun pee-peeing outside stories. But what we're really here for today is your Freaky Friday stories. I'm very excited to hear them.
Okay, do you want to share the last
please? Oh no, tell us
listener
everything.
encounter, because this is a good one, so that people might not be terrified of our show.
Not good. This one's good.
We had a listener listening to our podcast while driving, and they were at a light, and as it turned green, our voices, I think it was like Corinne's voice, like all of a sudden yelled stop, and it was, and luckily like she did, and all of a sudden like a car ran the red light through the intersection, and she listened back and was like, oh my gosh. And when she was listening back, Corinne doesn't say stop.
Wow.
She just heard you. Damn, Corinne, your freaking spirit was saving lives out there.
You're powerful.
I wonder what I dreamed that night. Yeah, maybe I was astral projecting. I don't know.
Yeah, you actually projected that you were a crosswalk.
Or like a ghost.
The person haunting our podcast is me.
Yeah.
It was you the whole time. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Someday, like many hundreds of years from now, it all comes back that the whole time the ghost was you.
It was me.
This is a good segue into your story, Corinne.
Oh, yeah, nice.
I have a paranormal story that kind of, totally goes in line with this. So to give a little bit of background and context, I have always been haunted my whole life. And by me being haunted, I really think it's my entire family and all the houses we've ever lived in. So all 3 homes I've ever had in my childhood were haunted. We were like the haunted house in the beginning of the street, not at the end. Mm-hmm. And so I just, paranormal activity was a normal occurrence for me. It didn't make it any less scary though. So when I was in middle school, I was going through a really hard time, as a lot of people do when they're in middle school, and they're pubescent and everything is awful. And you're like the first person with boobs and everyone hates you. Oh, yeah. Yes. And I was kind of in that situation, and I was being bullied very, very hard for 2 years of middle school. Like the bullying that you see in movies where they're having their friends and their cousins and random people call you and say like, kill yourself, like things like that. So it was very bad.
I was very lucky.
That's okay. Well, I was very lucky that my mom.
It's not okay, but I hope you've moved
I'm
past it
recovered.
and can heal. Good.
Well, actually, I don't know if I'm recovered because I don't really remember much from that time. So I think my brain has blocked it out.
You're
But it doesn't
protecting
hurt me.
yourself.
It's
Protect
somewhere.
yourself.
Yeah.
It's somewhere. But I remember bits and pieces from it. And luckily, my mom had also worked. She was a child therapist, so that worked out well for me.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. But anyway, during that period, multiple times over this year and a half, I would wake up in the middle of the night, or I'd be going to bed and wouldn't be able to get to sleep, and I would just be so sad, and I'd be crying and weeping in my bed, just incredibly depressed and embarrassed about everything that was going on. And this woman would appear in the corner of my room. And at this point, I had barely moved into my childhood bedroom. I watched E.T. when I was 5, and I was like, that's it. Me and my brother, we're sharing a room and bunk beds. So now that I was 12, I was like, I have to be a big girl and move into my own bedroom. And so I had my bed tucked into the back corner of my bedroom so that I would be safe with the wall on one side, and the other side would be the one that's exposed that I have to battle all the demons from. So nothing was behind me, but I always kind of faced that direction to be prepared with whatever came at me paranormally, and things did. So it wasn't for nothing. It wasn't me just being ultra paranoid. But during this period,
you got to set up your battle.
I know. Yeah, you do. How did I even sleep? I don't know. But there was this woman who, she felt so much taller than me, and she had this long, dark, draping clothes that would come off of her, and her hair was long and dark. It was almost black, and it was to her waist. And she would appear in the corner of my bedroom that was completely diagonal from where I was. And I would see her, I would feel her presence, and she would stand there. And she would stand there for multiple minutes before she would start to get closer and closer and closer to me. And the odd thing is, her presence, the way that she appeared, looked so scary, but I was never scared. And when she would get to me, she would put her hand on my hair and kind of slowly and gently stroke it. And it was actually incredibly comforting, which was bizarre because everything else about the situation should be horrifying. And so this happened to me over a year and a half. And Sabrina and I have theorized, and I've theorized with people who have gotten tarot card readings from and past life readings from, who this person could be. Is this a guardian angel? Is this some spirit that lived in my house that was super sad to see me go through this? We didn't really know. And we still don't know. But I had a moment I think it was over Christmas break or something like that. It was in Easter. That's what it was. Yeah.
So it's really recent. Yeah.
Very recent. I was home in Vermont. My parents still live in that house. And I was staying in my childhood bedroom, and I was changing into my pajamas. And when I changed into my pajamas in my room, every single night that I'm there, I do it in that same exact corner of the room because it's the only spot, if I keep the lights on at night, which I do because I'm scared of the dark, if I keep the lights on, that corner prevents me from being seen from the street, from neighbors changing.
Oh, wow.
So I was in that corner and I was changing, and there's also a mirror in that corner. And as I was changing, I caught a glimpse of myself and had a little moment of panic because I was like, it's the woman. She's back. And then I realized that the woman might be me.
Yeah.
Just in the future, because the woman to me always looked like she was in her 30s. And I'm turning 30 this year. So I'm like, maybe something happens in the next decade where I am able to go back and sort of observe and heal that part of me that I don't remember much of. And I do that sort of work. And I see myself.
Yes.
Because when I saw the reflection in the mirror, I was like, it's her.
But it was you.
So because I think I've heard this story a couple of times, and every time I hear it, I'm just blown away. But we were talking yesterday about EMDR, and this makes me think, because I've been doing a lot of EMDR and therapy, trauma work. And
I've been wanting to do that.
And it's really, really powerful. And when you're in it, you're mentally putting your adult self into past experiences and trying to help your past self work through things. And that's how I did it. And I'm sure other people do it differently mentally. But Corinne, this makes me think, in the next couple of years, if you plan to do any therapy work or work on your past, I'm imagining you doing EMDR and as your adult self, putting yourself back into those moments and actually astral traveling and projecting in a way.
Healing yourself.
And healing yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you're like, you
possible.
don't really remember as much. Like maybe when you're putting that hand on your head, you were healing yourself instead of like, forget, but like, process it, deal with it. And it's going to come through when you do therapy.
Oh,
Yeah, there's
that's
only one way to test it.
Yeah.
Apparently,
It's either
we're
that or
starting
DMT,
therapy.
because apparently DMT, you can also travel to your past selves. And
Yes.
Interesting.
so,
Or we learned on a previous Freaky
ayahuasca
Friday.
shot
If you
every
take,
morning.
yeah, it was,
yeah.
One of our listeners wrote in that they did mushrooms, ketamine, and a whippet, and then they
And
were able
wine,
to also travel
and,
through like different times and
Jesus.
stuff. So who knows
I think
what the
my
mix
heart
would be?
give out. I'll
but-
do the.
Kids, don't try this
I'll
at
do the other
home.
one.
But
No, don't try this at home.
Got to be a professional.
I know, go to
Yes.
therapy,
Well,
guys.
I'm whatever it was. I'm glad that you have kind of healed that trauma, because that is such a lasting thing for kids.
It is so
Yeah.
interesting too, because it was the one experience. Because I've had so many, and obviously I won't. We'd be here for hours if I told you more. But
Well, that's why we want to listen to your podcast.
Yeah.
right, yes, it is interesting to me though, because this was the moment, like when I had this realization that it felt very likely and very familiar that it was me, which is probably why I wasn't scared of this scary drapey clothed
True.
woman, which is kind of how I dress now. It was just so weird to think about like time. It made my brain blast open. I was like, what even is time? Like, I don't know anything about this world
Right.
anymore. What are dreams? So it was
It's true. All
it
of
was
it.
interesting.
Dang, you can travel.
Wow. Well, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that that age group is such a hard time. And we all want to go back to our former selves at that age and be like, it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Just wait it out. And look at you now.
Yeah,
So all those
exactly.
assholes that bullied you, first of all, fuck off to the moon.
Yeah.
And also, I guarantee you they're not as successful. So you won in the long
Yeah,
run.
like I'm thriving. It was you visiting.
Probably not.
Yeah, exactly. You visited your childhood self and been like, don't worry about it. Believe me, it'll all work out. Their lives go very badly. I was horribly bullied in sixth grade. And my teacher said that. She was like, I really think in the long run, like life-wise, your life will work out and theirs probably won't. And she was 100% right. So whether it's ourselves, our past selves, or an adult, we definitely need that when we're going through that, man.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah.
It's so sad how mean kids can be. And it's like,
Wretched.
yeah.
why?
Wretched.
I know everyone's dealing with their own stuff, but oh my God.
I'm
It just
hoping
feels so
the
unnecessary.
generation like that we're raising now is like my kids' age will be a little different. So that's
Kinder.
the only thing that
I
gets
hope
me
so.
through the day, because
No,
I
I
cannot
hope
stand
so.
the thought of either of them being bullied.
Yeah.
I believe that because I truly think with each generation it gets better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
Kinder,
and
hopefully.
Yeah.
we heal all of the
Hopefully.
things that hurt us. So I feel like that was a big part of our upbringing. So I think
Yes.
that it'll only get better, and I think your kids will be just fine.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
well,
so
you
much.
can time travel and astral project. So I
Yeah,
take that as
I'll
a
do that.
guarantee. Honestly,
I'll give them a
I'll
little
have you
pat on
time
their
travel
head.
to them.
thank you.
I'll
Please
comfort
do.
their
Yeah.
potential bullies before they can even become them. So we'll be
Yes.
okay.
See, they need comforting too. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Hurt people. So those kids probably need more attention
Help,
than
yeah.
anyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scary cloaked woman in the corner of the room will visit that night.
But don't worry, she's you.
It's fine. It's me.
Yeah.
Don't freak out.
It's me. All right. Well, and Sabrina, you have. Did you time travel to astral project yourself, or you were
I
haunted
didn't
in a
time
different
travel
way?
to do it, but I did astral project.
What?
And I've done it. Okay. So I think that's my superpower, but I'm scared of it. So I haven't fully tapped in. Because
Scary.
the couple times that I did it, it was very accidental and it wasn't like an intentional, like, oh, I'm going to go astral project. So we'll see what happens on that journey. But yeah, so this story, I feel like I've told it a bunch of times, but it is like the scariest story. And it was one that, similar to Corinne, like I spent so many years of my life wondering what it was and then got an answer, and the answer blew my mind. So when I was 4 or so, my family moved to a new house in Branchburg, New Jersey. It's a small little town. And it was a brand new house, like new build. We were the first ones to live there. It used to be old farmland. So, you're like, oh, well, that should be like a great, lovely house. Like, why would it be haunted? But it was. And there was a lot of stuff that happened in that house. But when we first moved in, it was just my sister and I, who's older than me, and then my parents. And my brother had not been born yet. So we moved in, and I started having these reoccurring nightmares. And in the nightmare, I'd wake up and I'd feel like a presence in my doorway, and I felt like I had to follow it. So I'd follow it down the hall to my sister's room. And every time I would open the door, I would see these black and white orbs fighting over her. And it was scary. And I'd wake up after that, and I'd, just have like a very unsettled, frightful feeling. And also every time I would wake up in my dream, I would be wearing what I had gotten to bed in. Like, it very much felt like it existed in that real moment.
Yeah, maybe not sleepwalking, but like it's you in that day that you
exactly. My room was the same, everything. So I had this for years, and it stuck with me clearly. But I never really thought it was more than that. I was just like, it's a weird reoccurring nightmare. Who knows what that is? Why do we dream? What are dreams? The typical questions. And fast forward, this is probably 18 years later. I am at my college graduation and at dinner with my dad, my sister, and my brother. And we somehow get to the conversation of reoccurring dreams. And I share this one. My dad doesn't say anything, and usually he loves to talk. So the fact that he wasn't responding was weird to start off with. And he drops me off at a college graduation party. We're all about to go drinking and stuff. And I get a text from him, and he's like, do you have time to meet me tomorrow? Because something you told me, something you said tonight happened in real life. It wasn't a dream. And I had shared multiple reoccurring nightmares. So I was like, what is he talking about? And then I was like, excuse me, Dad. You can't just drop a bomb on me.
I'm trying to do a keg stand. You can't drop this on me right now.
What's up, Sabrina? You're like, hang on. I got to respond to this. Hold on.
Legs up. Yeah. But yeah, so he tells me, he goes, that dream with the waking up, going to see my sister wasn't a dream. It happened in real life. So the next day I go to meet him, and he is like, it's so funny. He was at a hotel bar drinking a Bloody Mary. And I was like, I feel like you are scripting this. This is like,
you need to know your family's secrets.
So he goes on to tell me that when we first moved into this house, I was like 4, he had one night fallen asleep on the couch. And he woke up to a strange noise. And my dad also has a long history of paranormal stuff from an early age. He's always been in tune. He sees things, experiencing things. He's been possessed, might still be possessed. We don't know.
Oh no.
That's a whole other story. My mom and his current wife have said he speaks another language in his sleep. And it sounds like he's fighting with a voice. Anyway. That's a whole other story.
He's fighting.
So he goes on to tell me, he woke up to a strange noise, and he felt weird, but he thought maybe it was just the TV. He's groggy. He had, been asleep. So he turns the TV off, and he starts kind of checking the downstairs, turning the lights off, closing, making sure all the doors are locked and closed. And he upstairs. And he said the second he gets to the stairwell, he was gut instinct, something's wrong. There's someone in a house, that kind of feeling.
Oh, God.
And so he starts climbing the stairs, and he's just very on edge, being quiet. And my room was right up at the top of the stairs. So he checks on me. I'm asleep. He peers into his bedroom. My mom is asleep. And then he starts down the hallway. And immediately, that feeling is getting worse and worse. And he just felt cold, and just someone's watching him. It just felt super, super unsafe. Mm-hmm. And he starts towards my sister's room. And when he touched the door handle, he said it was ice cold, and that feeling got worse. And so he opens the door, and he said it was all of the air was sucked out of the room. He looks, and my sister is asleep in bed, but all of a sudden, eyes closed, she turns to him, and out of her mouth comes a deep guttural voice that says, "Get out."
Oh my God.
And my sister's 6, so like, she's not like
that's not
temperamental.
something a 6-year-old
She's
typically does.
She's
Yes.
not
No,
like
it's like
angry.
Oh, Ella would yell, "Get out," in a
Yeah.
demon voice to me, but she would be awake when
and then
doing
maybe
it.
awake and be
Right.
like, get out,
Yeah.
If it happened with her eyes closed, she was asleep, I would be
Right.
terrified.
Yeah.
So, and like, plus the combo of all of the feeling my dad is having.
Yeah.
So
And the
he-
ice cold doorknob. Yeah.
And his instincts are like run, but it's his daughter there, so he goes up to her, and he's also experienced a lot of things. So he grabs my sister and is like, "Leave my daughter alone," and like shakes my sister like awake, not like violently,
Yeah, but
wakes
just
her
like,
up.
yeah.
It's not shaking the baby, but she wakes up and is like totally unaware of anything, like
Had just been out.
yeah, and he picks her up and is like, "I'm going to take you to our room to sleep with us." So he picks her up and he turns around and I'm standing in the doorway. But
So he was the white and the demon was the black.
exactly.
Wow.
And
Dad, the white knight saved
he's
her.
yeah. And what I'm unclear about is because now in my adult life I have had other astral projection experiences, like part of me, and my dad was already like very open to the paranormal. Like, was he seeing my astral self? Was I sleepwalking? I'm not totally clear. But then the next day he like told my mom, he's like, "We should get the house blessed. We just moved in. Like, let's just to be safe." And so they got the house blessed. And after that, the dark stuff kind of went away. Our basement definitely had a dark energy, and my brother, when he was like a little bit older, he started having nightmares about this one closet in the basement, which was very freaky. And it was like this like calling to the closet. And when he would open the closet, he would like be sucked into this like black hole of sorts. So we believe the dark energy went in there.
Yeah.
Better than my sister, better than inside
Right.
her.
That's fine. You have a whole ass rest of the house.
Keep
If you
it
want
in
to
a
close
closet
the
in the
shit,
basement.
leave it in the closet. I have a closet I don't even look in. There's a bunch of shit in there.
Yeah.
There could
be a
be
demon.
ghouls in there. Keep the ghouls in there. Not in my house. Let them
Keep them
stay in
in
there.
there.
I'm good. I'm good with that.
But yeah, after that, the dark energy was gone. We did have like a mom and a little boy in our house that my brother would wake up in the middle of the night being like, "Mom, tell the little boy I don't want to play. I'm trying to sleep." So
like, get on our daytime schedule.
Yeah, come
I'll
on.
play with you during the day, but at
He's
night
got
I've
his
got
days
rest.
and nights mixed up.
I need my rest.
in
Yeah,
the
daylight saving
afterlife.
time. Yeah, exactly. Damn, that's
At
scary
least
though.
the
Do y'all
activity
think that
got-
maybe?
Oh,
Exactly.
sorry, go ahead.
You lost the activity. No, you're fine. Yeah, I would say, do you think that your dad doing that, kind of interrupting whatever was happening to your sister, has anything to do with him saying weird stuff in his sleep or anything, or he just like sleep apnea? We don't know what that's all about.
So, oh my gosh, that's a whole other complicated thing. But
in ancient
I don't
Latin.
think it's. Yeah,
Okay, that's not sleep apnea. Yeah, that's.
I don't think it's connected because I believe the talking a different language had happened like much earlier, like prior to this occurrence.
I see.
It's possible that maybe whatever's going on with him brought forth a dark energy. I don't know. Darkness follows my father is the
God,
lesson
what
here.
a banger title for his autobiography, though. Or actually,
Your
the one
memoir.
you're going to pin
Yours.
about him.
Yeah. I want to hear your memoir, "Darkness Follows My Father." For real though, that's but I think that shows a lot of power he has, that he's still, a dad, jumping in there to protect the daughter, like protecting you until you were ready to know the truth and all that. So he must be one hell of a powerful guy if the demons are trying to get at him and he's like, "You'd get down in the basement. Don't fuck with my kids."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
It's amazing.
that's I'm glad that none of that ended up being. All I'm picturing is poltergeist, because the new build on some type of land, and then
God knows.
yeah.
I think my second book would be My Sister's Near Possession.
Yeah.
Oh man,
We're ready for
I've
them.
got a
I will read
series.
them anytime. You got
you
a
do.
series.
You need to write a book.
I'm ready. I'm ready to read them.
Do y'all have plans to write a book or any other things coming up?
We would love to.
We hope to. Yeah, we would love to. We're
Sounds
working
like
on.
you both have a ton of stories.
Oh, we have so many, which is why we've put out specials. We have like the Corinne special, the Sabrina special on our own
Right, I
feed, because
saw
we're
that.
like, we just
Y'all
need to put it, compiled together. But no, we've got things in the works. We're trying to pull together a tour. We did a tour back in 2019, and then we did a couple shows this spring, and it was so fun. So
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in the
we're on
road.
tour
What about
right
you guys?
now. We're on break right now, but we go back out in a couple weeks, and it is a lot of fun. So
That'd be
we
great.
look forward to when you guys can go back out too.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you
Yeah.
live, and
We'll have
keep
to get
listening.
together.
And
Oh yes, please.
absolutely,
Yeah.
we already have.
Where are y'all again? What
I'm
cities?
Boston.
I'm Los Angeles.
Okay. Well, we'll be in Boston in
July.
just a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Oh,
Okay,
great.
July
I need to
19th.
look up your tour schedule.
The 19th.
we'll see you there. Hopefully, if you're available, July 19th in Boston. I think it's at
The Bell House?
that's in New York, but it's in
Oh.
Boston on July 19th, and we'll
Caps?
text you deets.
Caps?
That's
maybe?
Austin.
Okay. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just look at go to sinisterhood.com.
See, it sounds like you guys are just like Corinne and I, where it's like, Heather, you've got the deeds.
I don't Look it up.
But
I've always liked
we
Sinisterhood.com
complete each
/
other. It's like one of us
There you
knows
go.
the like tour dates and the locations. The other one remembers,
That we have a tour.
Oh,
our names.
right. Exactly. Well, I will no longer complain about being 17 minutes away from Christy, given y'all are besties and are bi-coastal besties,
I
as you
know.
say. But it doesn't seem like distance has done anything to keep you apart, because y'all are
No.
you need each other with all these ghosts coming at you and all the ghosts coming at your listeners. You're powerful together.
It's cool though that you can astral project and visit each
Yeah,
other
just
if you
visit each
need
other
to.
would
So
be great.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely need to like tap into that, because that would be really cool and a useful part of the.
Just hang out.
But the last time I did
Until
it,
then,
and it was accidental, I had like a voice wake me up saying like, "Wake up!" And I truly
don't do this.
sprung awake, and it was scary. So I haven't done it since then.
rejecting
That
it.
is, I want to be able to make sure I get back in. That's my only
Yes.
deal.
Right.
Gotta get
I need a
back.
guarantee
Exactly.
re-entry.
Right.
A stamp
Well,
on the
here's the
hand, if
thing.
you will.
I feel like our spooky little podcasting community is actually quite small, and we're all just so lucky to have each other in each other's lives too, that we can rely
Definitely.
on each other. We basically have a little coven, I would say.
Yes,
So if
we do.
something bad
Yes.
happens, you
It's
get
called
to
the
phone
Big
a
Spooky
friend
Circle.
and say,
Essentially. Yeah.
"Hello, big spooky circle. All of us
I love
spooky
it,
podcasters.
We should get
Help me, save
walkie-talkies.
me."
Oh yeah. Headsets,
Sure.
walkie-talkies, I'm all in.
When we
Let's do
we
it.
got to dig a bunker. Step one. We
Yes.
get a mega
So-
podcast bunker.
Okay, I'm with you. We have the bunker.
I thought
Christy and
step one
Sabrina,
was go to
you get the supplies.
Dollywood.
Oh yeah, we are. We have to ask. Are you interested in going to Dollywood with everyone? Just making sure you're on board.
Is our bunker?
we
We,
really
we
just
build a
go
bunker
down.
under Dollywood.
Oh, there we are. Okay,
And then she'll
we've
come
done
down
it.
and be like, "Hey y'all."
Hey, here's the thing.
No,
I
Dolly.
think she'd fund it. I don't think we.
Yes, absolutely,
right.
she would. Yes, and she would be a guest on everybody's show. She's
Oh, yeah.
delightful. She's
Best
wonderful.
guest.
We're like, it's for the
An
benefit
angel
of
from heaven.
humanity, Dolly. And she's like, I'm there. I'm
For
there.
real.
I'm
We're trying to
in.
save the world. She's like, "So am I." Oh my goodness.
Well, where can everybody find your show and you guys on social and all that?
Corinne, you take it away.
Okay. Well, you can find us at 2 Girls 1 Ghost is our username pretty much across all social platforms, Instagram, TikTok. We have a website, 2girls1ghost.com, which is where you can find everything all in one, merch, future tours, etc.
And 2 and 1 are spelled out.
Oh, yes.
Like TWO, not the numbers. And
2
then
girls,
Yes.
1 ghost. Ghost is the important word to remember at the end, or else you might find yourself
Yeah.
somewhere.
Try and put another word there.
Yeah,
Even
You're going
we'll
to get a
start
different
suggesting.
Google search.
I have told people the name of the podcast before, and like I don't know if it's the way that I speak. I don't know, but they often hear 2 girls, 1 goat, as in the animal.
Oh,
That's-
wow.
pretty
That's
That's
so
quite
bad.
disturbing.
Yeah,
Probably
you don't
also
want
a website,
your,
honestly.
tell a
It's on
friend,
the
a
dark
coworker.
web, but it's
Yeah.
not on our
for sure.
podcast. Spotify
No.
didn't allow that.
No, Spotify's not putting that out. No.
No, they are
Friends,
not.
like, I watched the whole video, and neither of those girls were you, and there was no ghost. Like, yeah, that was a bad move. Don't click that. Don't click that. TWO girls.
Yes.
O-N-E ghost.
Yes.
Not a
Correct.
ghost.
Yes.
Correct.
Correct.
That kind of. Not a bad.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure
Thank you.
speaking to you. And
You too.
we always love hearing spooky stories from fellow podcasters. And we hope we get to see you in Brooklyn in just
In
a few
Boston.
weeks. I don't know what I've been sick all week. I might as well just
I
not
will-
talk, honestly.
I just, honestly, I roll up to Chrissy's house. I'm like, let's go on an adventure. And she's like, let's go. So I will roll up and pull you, and we're going to go to
You're
the
just
Northeast,
going-
all kinds
yeah.
of places.
Okay. Yeah. I'll show up and I'll
She's
do a
on
show
show, yeah.
wherever I'm going to be. Yeah.
Well, we'll
We'll
definitely
see
see you too soon. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Awesome.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.